Hello friends, welcome back to the video series in Oracle PL SQL Programming. In the previous videos, already we have used the select statement to retrieve the records from the table. We have also sorted out the retrieved data using order by clause. In this video, we would discuss on the filtering of the data to retrieve records. To add the conditions to filter data, we use where clause. To filtering the data, we basically use the where clause by which we pass some specific conditions, and the records which are only satisfying these conditions would be retrieved and would be as the output only. Various operators may be used to pass the conditions to filter the data. We can also use various operators to pass the conditions, and we would discuss on various operators also in this video. Now you are aware of the fact that in this video series during update and delete we have already used the where clause. Here also we would use the where clause in the same way, but before we proceed to practical way we have to discuss another fact, and this is known as the comparison operator. These are the comparison operators generally need when we have to pass some conditions to select statement to retrieve data. Such as we want to pass the condition to get the records for the employees whose salary is greater than 20,000, we should use greater than operator, or suppose the employees whose salary is less than or equal to 20,000, we must use the less than equal to operator. However, it would be better demonstrated to check all these in the practical way. So, the comparison operators are equal to, not equal to, greater than, less than, greater than and equal to, less than and equal to. Let us open the SQL Plus at first. To connect to the database, type the username as system and the password, as you know, password throughout the video series. Now we are connected to the Oracle database. At first, clear the screen. First of all, we can filter by columns and rows. Filtering by columns is just an easy process and we have done it before. That is, if we have so many columns in a table and we are selecting some of them to get the output, it is just as filtering by columns. Such as from the employee table, we are filtering like that: select EMPID, comma, first name, comma, last name, comma, salary, comma, DPT ID, and from which table? Na employee, semicolon, and press enter. So here we can not selecting all the columns from the employee table. So filtering columns occurs here by selecting some of the columns from the employee table like EMPID, first name, last name, salary and department ID. Now we would discuss on the row filtering. Let us discuss row filtering with comparison operators. Let us check the records of the employees who work on the department ID 50. So write down the statement as from the previous statement like select EMPID, first name, last name, salary, department ID from employee, where DPT ID is equal to 50, semicolon, and press enter. Here the equal sign has been used to check the employees who works in the department ID 50. So press enter, and here we can see the employee ID 110, 112, 124, 125 and 126 work on department ID 50. Same as for the employees who do not work in the department ID 50, we have to use the not equal to sign, and for that just here we have to use the not equal to operator and press enter. Now you can check here from the output, the department ID is never 50. That means that is the output for the employees who do not work on the department 50. Same as to check for the greater than or less than operator, let us check the condition with salary column. So here we can use the same statement, select EMP-ID, first name, last name, salary, department ID from the employee, where we have the salary greater than 10,000. Semicolon, press enter. Here we are checking the records for the employees whose salary is greater than 10,000. Something is wrong here. Yes, the column name has not been typed correctly. So salary greater than 10,000. And now we can find that the salary is always greater than 10,000. Now to check the records less than or greater than equal to or less than equal to, the statements would be the same. Like here at first we are proceeding with the salary and here we are using the less than. So here we can see the salary is always less than 10,000. Same as for the salary greater than equal to 10,000, we can use the greater than equal to sign. And here we can check the salary is always greater than or equal to 10,000. And to check the salary less than or equal to, we can use the less than equal to operator. And here we have the salary either equal to 10,000 or less than 10,000. So this is the way how we can use the comparison operators to filter the data in SQL. Now we would discuss on the logical operators to filter the data. Practically, when we want to pass the multiple conditions to filter data, such as want to search the employees who work in department ID 50 and salary less than 10,000, multiple conditions have to be passed. Here the logical operators come into the sense. So what are the logical operators? And, or, and not. Practically, and or are the Boolean operators. It takes the Boolean values and returns the Boolean values. If we want for both the conditions or more than two conditions are true, we would go for the AND operator. If we want to any condition is true among all the others, we should go for the OR operator. Whereas NOT operator works as an unary operator which converts true value to false and false value to true. Let's check logical operators with the SQL Plus. At first, clear the screen for better view. And here we are typing the statement, select EMP-ID, first name, last name, salary, department ID from employee, where salary is greater than equal to 10,000 and department ID is equal to 50, semicolon, and press enter. Here what happens? When both the conditions matched, that is the salary is greater than or equal to 10,000 and for the employees who work in the department ID 50 are true, only these records are shown. As you know, when we are using AND, both the conditions or more than two conditions have to be true. We may check with another department ID such as suppose 20. Here we can see the salary is always greater than 10,000 and also the department ID is equal to 50. Let's check with another department ID, suppose 20. Press enter, and here also we can see the department ID is 20 and the salary is always greater than 10,000. But in the case of OR, any one of the condition has to be true. Let's check. Select EMPID, first name, last name, salary, department ID from the employee where EMPID is equal to 105 or EMPID is equal to 101 or EMPID is equal to 108. Press enter, and here if any employee ID among 101, 105 or 108 is true or exists, the records shown in the output. If 3 employees IDs are present, then their 3 records are shown. That is, the true records are shown as output. Let's check what happens if we change any one EMP ID as from 108 to 1080. Press enter, and at that moment, as the EMP ID 1080 does not exist, that means not true, so only the 2 records for the employee ID 105 and 101 are as the output. Let's now discuss about some special operators. And the special operators are in, between, and, like, is, null. When we are working with the equal operator, this operator is able to check equality only with a single value. But if we want to check the multiple values, we have to go with the in operator. And multiple values without range also can be retrieved with the in operator. Next one, between and, is basically used for the range. Suppose the records for salaries between 10,000 and 20,000. Already we have used the between and operators. Like operator is practically used to compare a pattern. Suppose if we use the equal operator to find the record for the employee whose name is Shumon, then it will find the records for the employees whose name is Shumon. But if we want to find the records for the employees whose name start with S, or search for the employees whose emails are from yahoo.com, we may use the like. That is, we are searching for any pattern. Practically, wildcard characters are used with the like operator. Now, no operator is able to compare the null value. In this situation, the is null operator becomes handy to compare the values which are null. Practically, and, or, and not logical operators are also used with these operators to get the results, such as when using these operators, we get the desired results satisfying the conditions, but using not before these conditions, we get the results which are not satisfying these conditions. So it is quite interesting to get the reverse result. So check all these results practically, such as look at the previous one last statement. Instead of using the OR operator here, we can use in operator, such as for the searching of the records for the EMPID 105 or 101 or 108, we can use the in operator. So here the statement would be like that. where EMP ID in, and within parenthesis we are writing 101, 105 and 108 and then semicolon. Press enter, and here we are getting the same result as before. We have the statement like select EMP ID, first name, last name, salary, department ID from the employee, where EMP ID is equal to 105 or 101 or 108, and the result is same as here. Now, to get the reverse of this condition, we can simply use the not keyword, such as from the last statement we can write here EMP ID, where EMP ID not in, and press enter, and here we can find that except those three records, all the other records has been in the output. Once again, clear the screen for the better view. Now look at another statement. Select EMP ID, first name, last name, salary, department ID from employees, from employee, where salary greater than equal to 10,000 and salary less than equal to 20,000. Semicolon, press enter. We have used the AND to get the records for the employees whose salary is in between 10,000 and 20,000. Instead of using this statement, we can use the between AND operator. Let's check what happens. So, the statement would be like that, where salary between 10,000 and 20,000. Always remember, the first one is the lower limit and the last one must be the upper limit. So, here only one semicolon and press enter. So, the same output. So, we are getting the same records as like the previous statement. Now, we can also use the order by clause. Let's check what happens with the order by clause. That means here order by salary, semicolon, and press enter. So, the same output here according to the ascending order of salary. Let's check. In the previous case, the first one was 10,000 and then 20,000, like that. That means the order was according to the EMP ID, the primary key. But in that case, we have used the order by with the salary. That means the ascending order of the column salary. So that's why at first 10,000, then 10,800, then the final one is the 20,000. And here again we can use the reverse order output. That is to get the records for the employees whose salary not between 10,000 and 20,000. So using the not keyword. Let's check what happens. Select EMP ID, first name, last name, salary, department ID from employee, where salary not between 10,000 and 20,000, order by salary, semicolon, and press enter. So, here is the output. That means for the employees whose salary does not belong in between 10,000 and 20,000, and we cannot find any salary that is from 10,000 to 20,000, and that is called the reverse output. Now let's check about the like operator. Suppose we want to find the records for the employees whose name starts with S. Now we have to search for a pattern, and here we have to use the like operator. Once again, at first clear the screen. Now write down the statement select, that must be select empid comma first name comma last name comma dpt id comma salary from the table, that is employee, where first name like single quote capital S and then the percentage, then end of single quote and semicolon. Always remember this capital S is case sensitive. So capital S and small s both would be different. Then we have to use the wildcard character. Here percent operator is used for the multi character. Here we are searching for the employees whose names are starting with capital S. Press enter and here we can see the output is based on the name of the employees whose first name start with the S, and after capital S, practically the capital S, and after capital S there may be the multi character, which one is using for the percentage sign, such as to find the name of the employees whose name end with suppose small a. So the statement would be like that. So that is percentage and end small a. So here we can find the output for the employees whose first name end with the small a. So once again, if we want to find out the name of the employees, that means the first name of the employees whose name start with the capital S and end with the small a. So the statement would be like that. So that one is the output. Once again, if we want to find out the name of the employees whose names start with the small s, then that one is the output. So now we have used the percentage wildcard character to get any number of characters, that means multi characters. To get particular number of characters as a wildcard character, we should use the underscore. Such as to get the names of 4 characters after capital S, we must use 4 underscores as each underscore as one character. Such as here we are using the statement like capital S and then underscore 1, underscore 2, underscore 3 and underscore 4. Press enter and here we have the 3 outputs. Now look at the output. The first name start with the capital S and after that there are 4 characters. So percentage wildcard character we can check for 0 or multi character, and using underscore wildcard character we can check any number of character, that is each underscore for each character. Now the next operator is null, is for comparing the null value. Let us check the records for employees whose department ID is null, that is the employees not assigned to any department. Let us clear the screen at first and write down the statement like here select empid first name last name department ID salary for employee where dpt id is equal to null, semicolon, press enter. The output is no rows selected. That does not mean there is no employee assigned with any department. Here practically the statement is wrong. Here the equal sign assignment operator searches for any value, but null is not any value. So no records are found with that condition. In that case, we can use the is null operator, and for that we have to use the department ID in place of equal operator. We have to write down the is null. Press enter, and here we can find the output. Now the output as we desire, that is the employees who are not assigned to any department. You can check here the department ID column is really blank or practically null. Now if we want to revert values, that means the records of the employees who are assigned to any department, we can use the not, and for that we can use here department ID is not null. Press enter, and here we can find the employees which are assigned to any particular department, such as here we can find the employee ID 102 has no salary. So we can also use that particular where salary is null, semicolon, press enter. SQL command not properly ended, and that's why, because double semicolon is there, so we are removing one semicolon and press enter. And here we can find there are practically two employee ID, 101 and 102, with no salary. That means the salary field is null here. And same as here, if we want to find out the revert, that means we can use here is not null, and here we are finding the revert records. So all the records except the null value assigned to the salary column at that moment are found here. So this is the way we can filter the data within our SQL query. In the next video, we would start discuss on the SQL functions.